If you like the whole idea of video and you want to get more clients in your coaching business, maybe you've thought about how you can use YouTube to help you get more clients and grow your business. In this episode of the show, I'm going to be taking you through a whole process that you can use to help you use YouTube to attract more clients. Let's dive in. Hi there, welcome to the Wholehearted Business Show. I'm Laura. I help health, life and spiritual coaches get more clients so they can generate more income and live their most aligned life. And today on the show, we're talking all about YouTube. Now, some of you guys will be watching this on YouTube if you listen on the podcast. Just a reminder that this show also goes out on YouTube as well, where you can see my face and my office behind me and my new haircut and all of that kind of stuff. So you're missing out if you're listening on the podcast. Do come and watch on YouTube as well. Now, just to say, my YouTube channel is not huge. I've got 450 subscribers. I've got various different levels of views, but I still love showing up here and people are still finding me, even though I'm not getting thousands of views on my videos at all. People are still finding me and then coming along and working with me. So for me, YouTube still works massively well as a part of how I grow my business without me having a huge account. So I just wanted to get that clear. I'm not here talking about YouTube as some kind of massive expert who has thousands and thousands of followers on here, but you don't have to. And that's the whole point, is that you don't necessarily have to have a massive number of followers on YouTube to find success with it. So we're going to talk about how you can utilize YouTube to help you get more clients in your coaching business, the things that you might want to consider and think about if that's something that you want to explore, and how you can make all of this fit into your overall content marketing strategy. So first of all, is YouTube still a relevant platform? Now, absolutely so. I think we've got to ask this question these days because platforms are changing so much, the way that people consume content is changing so much, but YouTube is still a really relevant platform. In fact, it's the second biggest platform in the world after Facebook. And the kind of quote for this that I got says social media platform. So it's the second biggest social media platform in the world. However, I don't see YouTube as social media because it's search engine based. It just doesn't have the same, I'm going to get really woo, it doesn't have the same energetic vibe as Instagram and TikTok for me at all. I know that we have YouTube Shorts, but it just doesn't sit in the same box in my brain, and I think that's the case for a lot of us as well. Although YouTube is technically, and some people would say that YouTube is a social media channel, for me it's a search engine based platform that is just different from the other ones. So it really sits in a different box for me. And also the content that we create on here, and I'm going to talk about this a few times, the content that we create on YouTube has a lot more longevity than the content that we create on social media. It has 2.56 billion active users a month. Like any industry, any niche, there's going to be people on YouTube for you. So it really is just a great place to be, I think, and it's still very relevant. It's one of those platforms, I think, that's been around for a long time and it is just still kind of here doing its thing. Yes, it's brought in YouTube Shorts, but if you go on the platform, it is still primarily longer form video content that it is serving you. And I really love that about the platform. I really love that it hasn't, yes, it's welcomed in this newer, shorter form video, but it actually still really places most of the focus, I think, on the longer form content, the longer form videos, which is amazing. So yes, YouTube is still very relevant and it's still worthwhile considering as a platform for your business to help you market your services. Now, obviously, YouTube is video based. To use YouTube, you will have to do video. Now, I know for a lot of people that is scary as fuck. I totally get it. There is a learning curve, I think, that comes with video. And I think, honestly, if you were going to consider starting on YouTube, it's just something to think about in terms of what are your confidence levels with video? How do you feel about showing up like this? And just to say, I was looking at some of my really early videos from 7-8 years ago, and I've got ones even earlier. I think I've got a lot of them privated now because they're shit, just to say. And there's obviously a very wide spectrum in terms of the level of editing and, shall we say, professionalism of videos on YouTube, but that should not put you off. We've all got to start somewhere, and I am so glad that I started with those shitty videos because have to do those shitty ones to get to where I am now. And some people might think that these ones are not the best. And I don't care, because I'm showing up and I'm doing it. And that to me is way more important than being perfect. Because if we want to take action, we've got to just show up and take action. So I think with video, if you're not that confident, I think it's about, okay, how can you slowly build your confidence? How can you accept where you are right now and just work with what you've got? You know, you don't have to have the best equipment. We're going to talk about that soon. You don't have to even edit anything. Like my original videos that I've got are just completely unedited, and you can see how my confidence has shifted over the years. Just have a look at my channel. If you're watching on YouTube now, scroll right the way through down to the bottom of videos. I think I've got a couple of ones that I did about my experience with training as a health coach with IIN. I think those are the earliest ones that I've still got live, and I'm sure you will see that my confidence has shifted, that the way that I show up on video is very different to how it was. For some reason my voice is really lower. I don't know if that's something that happens as you get older as a woman, but my voice is a bit lower than it used to be. I really noticed that I was talking quite high pitched in my other videos and very gentle, and yeah, so I just feel like I've totally changed over those few years. But we all have to start somewhere. So almost like accepting that your first videos are probably going to be a bit crap, and that's okay, because you're showing up and you've already got a head start on all the other coaches who are not showing up on video because you're trying and you're doing something. So when it comes to confidence with video, I think it is just about starting where you are. Perhaps you want to just start off by recording some videos for yourself and not actually sharing them anywhere, and just recording them and then watching them back and getting used to the process and finding your own groove with it. Maybe it's about having a safe space and sharing some videos with a group. In my Wholehearted Business group program, I'll often say to people, if you want to share videos, if you want to do something that's going to build your confidence up without it being publicly available for the whole world, share your videos with us. And that's a really great way to get started with it all. So just think about your confidence with videos and know that it doesn't have to be perfect ever, but certainly not at the start. And then let's start to get into what a client attraction strategy might look like with YouTube. So I think something really important to acknowledge right at the start before we get into some of the nitty-gritty is that we are on YouTube not as influencers, not as people who are going to benefit from getting paid because we're getting ads served on our content. We're there to build our businesses. So we don't want to look at what other YouTubers are doing and then think that we have to replicate that because they're there as influencers and as professional YouTubers who get paid from ads. They're not there as business owners who are actually wanting to build their businesses. So that's the first thing just to bear in mind if any of the things that I talk about are different from what you might see from what other people on YouTube are doing. But that's usually because they're there in more of a YouTuber capacity than a business owner coach capacity. So I think the first thing that you want to look at is how YouTube fits into your overarching content marketing strategy. Now, it might be that you have no kind of content marketing strategy at all and that YouTube is the first thing that you're going to focus on, and that's fine. Or it might be that you have other platforms going on that you are using and you either want YouTube just to be its own standalone platform, its own standalone channel, or you want to integrate it with the other things that you've got going on. Now, obviously, the way that I do it in my business is I run this as something that I call a multi-platform content show. I need to think of like a snappier name, but I coined this term, a multi-platform content show. So every time I create a video, so right now I'm creating this video, this is the second step in my workflow. I actually write the post first and then use that as kind of guidance for the video. I record the video and then I share the video on YouTube. I pull the audio off, share the audio as a podcast, and then post the blog post on my website. So that's my core content marketing strategy. I teach all of this inside Content Marketing for Coaches Club. So if you want to figure all of this stuff out and actually get a content marketing strategy that does potentially include YouTube, please do check out the membership. It is really a great place to start with all of this. I also have a standalone course which is included in the supported level of the membership called How to Create a Multi-Platform Content Show, which teaches you again that exact process of how I use, how I set all of this up and how it really is really time effective and efficient and helps me be found and seen on multiple platforms in one go. So really you want to identify like where YouTube sits in your general content marketing strategy. For me, it's a foundational piece of the way that I show up and market my business. Also, another thing to remind you guys of is that YouTube, like other kind of foundational content marketing platforms like your blog, your podcast and stuff, and Pinterest as well, linked in with that, is these are a slower burn. So in terms of generating clients, these platforms can take a while to start to kick in, and that's just the nature of how they work. I think there's so many more benefits to focusing your content marketing on these platforms than on social media platforms, because these platforms, when you create content, your videos can get found for years and years, months and months ahead, whereas you're creating stuff on Instagram, it has a much smaller life cycle. So I'm a big believer in having these kind of platforms as the foundation of your marketing strategy because of the longevity and sustainability they provide. But it's really important to recognise that these are a slow burn when it comes to client attraction. If you're starting your business, you will want another strategy that is attached to this that will get you clients more quickly. That's something that I cover in Wholehearted Business, my 6-month group program, if that's something that you want to kind of look at. And Wholehearted Business also includes Content Marketing for Coaches Club. So if you feel that's another kind of piece of the puzzle for you, it's like that other client attraction strategy on top of this that's quicker, then that's another place where you can be supported from me as well. And then the next step with that, once you've identified where YouTube sits in your content marketing strategy overall, is to create a content plan. So a content plan is basically deciding the kind of content that you want to share on the platform. And again, this might be broader than just YouTube, because you might be thinking about the content that you're creating on other platforms as well. And there's a few different ways you can think about this, but this is, again, very much what we cover in Content Marketing for Coaches Club. But what we talk about in the club is how we need attraction, connection, and sales-based content to be able to get clients ultimately from our content marketing strategy. So we want to be creating content that fits within these three kind of general headings. We also want to be thinking about the content that we create and how it relates back to our niche, the things that we are selling, our freebies. All of this kind of stuff needs to be taken into account to create a content plan that is actually going to work. So when we're planning our content out, we want to be thinking in this multi-dimensional way almost about the ways that we are creating our content, the kind of titles that we're going for, the topics that we're going to cover, the calls to action for that content as well is going to be really important. So we want to be thinking about all of those different things. And once you've got a bit of a content plan in place, and I usually plan my content roughly a quarter at a time, then that is going to give you a sense of, is this content strategic in multiple different ways, and in ways that are going to help me get clients. So creating a content plan would be the next step. Part of your content plan as well is going to be deciding on how often you want to create that content. So it might be doable for you to create once a week, but that might be just too much, and it might be twice a month. It could be different. So also, as part of this process, ask yourself how often it is that you want to create content. Another thing that's going to come in for YouTube is, and this kind of relates back to the attraction side of the content that I mentioned there, is to look at YouTube SEO. Now, again, dependent on, what your content marketing overall strategy is, it might be that you approach SEO in a slightly different way, but you can look at YouTube specific SEO for your videos to identify the kind of things that people are searching for. Next up, you're going to want to think about equipment, because obviously you're going to want to video yourself. Now, I have a really simple setup. And again, just a reminder that you can have the most basic setup. You can just use your phone. You can just use your webcam. You don't have to worry about a microphone if you've got like a reasonably quiet room. You can just keep it simple to start off with. My current setup is a Logitech webcam that has a bit of a better resolution than the shitty webcam on my MacBook, because the webcams on MacBooks are a disrespect given how much they cost. This should be a lot better, but I use the Logitech webcam, and then I have my Blue Yeti mic, which is what I use here. I did start off with a Blue Yeti Snowball, which is a bit cheaper, and then I went upgraded to the Blue Yeti mic, which does a great job. I also use a ring light as well when I'm recording videos, but ultimately you don't have to have any of this stuff. You can just use a well-lit room, a decent webcam, a decent phone, and that will do the trick. That will absolutely do the job. I'm pointing down there because I've got my phone with my notes on, in case you wondered why I'm looking down. So you can just get started with that, and that's absolutely fine. Don't put barriers in your way that don't need to be there. Like, it's perfectly fine to start where you are with really simple tech and really simple equipment. So that's absolutely fine as well. But then obviously if you want to, you can then upgrade to better equipment as you go. Something that is on my list is a video cam that I can record 4K on. So much better quality and possibly a better lighting setup. I always look in this room and think, is the lighting quite right? But you know, it works for me. So that's what you want to be thinking about in terms of equipment. I'm going to talk a bit about editing soon, but editing, there might be another set of tech that you might want if you want to edit. And remember, you don't actually have to edit if you don't want to. And then obviously you're going to want to set up your channel. So this is where you decide on your channel name, follow all the instructions on YouTube. It's all really straightforward in terms of setting it up. And actually, to be honest, all you need to set up your channel is just a header image, a channel description, a channel name, and you're done. That's pretty much all you need at the start to actually get the channel set up. So that stage is really simple. You might want to think a little bit about your channel name, about how that relates to you and your brand, but that's really straightforward, actually setting up the channel. And then the next stage after setting up the channel is actually starting to create your videos. So again, we've got our equipment, we've got our content plan, we just need to sit down and bash out the videos. I'm a big fan of batching videos, so recording a few videos together. This is the second video of a batch of 3 that I'm recording this morning. It just means that I'm not having to do my whole setup too often. It means that I can record stuff and then I can go in, edit and just drip things out week by week. That works really well for me. And then when it comes to the editing, as I said, you don't have to worry too much about editing if you don't want to. I started out with completely unedited videos and I've still got like hundreds and hundreds of views on those really early videos, and it's fine. It got across what I wanted to get across. It did the job that I wanted it to do, and we've got to start somewhere. So don't worry about editing. If that feels like a massive ball ache, don't worry about it. However, if you do want to dip your toe into some editing, there's a couple of great platforms that you can use. Loom is really simple. You can actually record your video into Loom as well if you want to. And just to say as well, I record my videos into QuickTime on the laptop, and then I transfer them into another program called Descript, which I'll come on to in a sec. But I record into QuickTime, but you can record into Loom. That's another option, and do some light editing in Loom, and then download the video out of Loom and upload to YouTube. I don't record directly into Descript because my computer gets a little bit antsy with Descript. However, Descript is a brilliant platform. I absolutely adore Descript for editing my videos and podcasts. It's just amazing. It's, for me, like, I did look at platforms like Adobe Premiere Pro, I think it is, but I find Descript, once you've got your head around how it works, is really effective. Some of you guys who do watch the videos might have noticed that kind of as we've gotten into this year, I've started adding B-roll footage and some nice like little graphics and some nice little fun things. And that for me just hopefully makes my videos a lot more engaging than just looking at my face talking to you for like 20 minutes. And it just makes them more fun. And Descript is a fantastic program for editing that. It can also take out the filler words. So hopefully all of the many filler words that I use will be taken out. Sometimes you will notice that the video is a little bit jittery, like you can see it cutting, and that's because I am umming and ahhing all over the place. So yeah, just to bear that in mind with Descript, but Descript is a great option. So that's where I would start if you're fairly new to video. I would start with one of those options. Either don't edit at all, use something like Loom, which is like really quite simple, or use Descript, where you can actually get quite a high level, I think, of results with that. Also, Descript is brilliant for repurposing your longer form videos into shorter form videos for other platforms as well. And then once you've created your videos, it's time to publish and share your videos. Again, YouTube guides you through the whole process. You're going to want a description for your videos. You're going to want some tags, which, to be fair, I need to start adding tags to my videos. That's something I need to layer on, an extra kind of level of thing that I need to do. But add tags, add chapters if you want as well, timestamps, there's things like that you can add in. And again, if adding timestamps is too much of a faff at the start, don't worry about doing it. I didn't do it until I was about 40 videos in, I think, before I started adding like chapters and timestamps and things. Just start where it is that you are and get your video published. You can either schedule in advance or just publish it right away. You also want to share that video as much as possible. Now, if you're just starting a YouTube channel, you want obviously that to be picked up and found in searches by people. That's your primary way of being found, and that can take time. So don't be disheartened if your video doesn't get a lot of views right away. That might change over time. The more people search for it, the more people find it. But also, if you share it at the start, if you already have existing platforms and existing email list, get that video out, because that provides value for your existing audience as well. So get all of that stuff put out there, share the heck out of it, and also know that a lot of the views will come over time, not just right at the start as well. Okay, so you might be thinking, that all sounds great, but how does this actually get me clients at the end of the day? So just to break that down, what we've covered is the process of getting your YouTube channel set up. The real key part when it comes to getting clients from this is having the right content plan and the right content marketing overall strategy in place. And like I've said before, I cover all of this in Content Marketing for Coaches Club, and I'll put a link to that below as well if you want to check that out. Really what we are doing is we are attracting people with the right content. They are finding us through our videos. We are creating a connection with them. We're hopefully getting them onto our email list with the right calls to action, or perhaps we're actually directing them directly over to our sales pages and to our offers through some of our videos as well. And then from that point, they're in our world, we can build that relationship and then sell the right services and offers to them. So that's basically how it works, which is a lot like a lot of other content marketing platforms. But that's what we want to be thinking about, is how do we bring those people in? How do those people find us on YouTube, first of all? How do we get them on our email list? And then also, how do we create content that is going to help them connect with us and build that know, like, and trust factor? And then how do we sell to them as well? And we can also sell using our content too, but we also want to get them on our email list so that we can continue to build that relationship with them and also serve them really good value. So that's how it works. So again, the key piece of the puzzle in this is getting the content marketing strategy right and getting that content plan on point. That's what's going to make the difference. And like I say, this is a slow burn. It's not going to result in clients overnight, but what it will do is it will build a foundation in your business that means that you are creating something that's more sustainable, that has more longevity, and that's where you're more likely to get those spontaneous client inquiries that I mentioned on an episode of the show a couple of weeks ago. Those spontaneous client inquiries will come because you've got this stuff out there in the world that is working hard for you, even after you have done it months ago and forgotten about it. So that's where we want to get to with YouTube. So I really hope that's been helpful. I know I've mentioned it a few times. I am talking about Content Marketing for Coaches Club because that is where I teach the nitty gritty of all of this stuff. So if you do want to learn more about that, do check out Content Marketing for Coaches Club. You can join from as little as $9 a month. There's also a level where we get into the courses, the more detail. You can find out all about it if you head to the page that's linked in the description. I'll be able to talk you through all of that. You also get Boxer support from me. We also have content marketing inspo kits every month. There's all sorts of fun, awesome stuff in there. But ultimately, if you are looking for some direction around the overarching content marketing strategy and planning your content and stuff like that, do check out the club, because that's where we really get to grips with it all and make it work for your individual business. But I really hope that you found this helpful. I love YouTube, just to say. I'm also such a personal fan of YouTube. I watch YouTube. I totally love all of the stuff on YouTube. So I think that does sometimes make a difference when it comes to like how you feel about the platforms that you show up on. But I'm just a massive fan of YouTube. I love my little channel. Like I say, it's growing slowly but surely. I absolutely love showing up here. It's just really good fun. So yes, I hope that's been helpful, and I'd love to see you guys starting your own YouTube channels. Let me know if you decide to do that. Please do like, comment and subscribe. That would be amazing. Let me know what you've enjoyed about this video. Let me know if you're going to start your own YouTube channel. That would be amazing. And let me know what you thought of this episode of the show. And I will see you next week, guys. Take care. Bye.